This system made a short from a documented source. When asked to stretch that same package into a long authority video, it stopped. That is the case study here. A production system can make a useful refusal instead of hiding weak evidence behind more narration and more motion. Can automated production stay useful when the available proof is too thin for the promise? This video follows one local run, one blocked long mode attempt, and the code paths that connect evidence, claims, scenes, and final technical checks. The aim is to show the boundaries, not to claim that automation removes judgment. Weak material often starts with a small source update. Expansion can then turn that update into broad conclusions, confident recommendations, or a longer story that the source never established. A polished result can still be unsupported. The risk is not that a video looks simple, the risk is that it looks finished before the evidence is finished. This pipeline begins with an evidence pack. It names the approved script, the evidence identifiers, and the assets that may appear in a scene. A later stage cannot quietly add a new factual statement and call it verified. The system treats an unsupported statement as a production problem, not as a creative opportunity. Microsoft 365 Copilot Release Notes. Long work needs more than a source page and a longer script. The authority gate asks for original evidence, a central question, a method, limitations, a reproducible artifact, and a conclusion tied to an approved provenance record. It is a constraint on what a long video may claim, rather than a score that predicts authority. The gate checks whether there is a non-supplementary owner-created asset. It also checks whether the conclusion is connected to a measured, calculated, or editorial record. This matters because a beautifully styled supporting image is still context when it does not directly demonstrate the proposed result. A source roundup may be suitable for a short explanation. It is not automatically suitable for a long authority case study. The system therefore has permission to stop before voice generation and rendering. That creates a clear boundary. More runtime is not a substitute for more first-hand evidence. A public statement needs a trail. In this pipeline, the intended trail is source to structured claim to narration to visual. The trail does not make a statement true by magic. It makes the declared support inspectable, and it makes later review possible without relying on a memory of how the script was assembled. Narration can agree with a card and still be wrong. Internal consistency only means that two parts of a video repeat the same wording. The stronger question is whether both parts lead back to a real source, a captured output, or a clearly labeled interpretation. That distinction is central to this project. The final short measured 34.933333 seconds in the stored media probe. The collected local suite listed 378 tests in the saved collection transcript. The saved short-run transcript shows the local stages for evidence validation, neural narration, scene cards, subtitles, a thumbnail, and a final master. Its no upload setting is visible in the recorded output. This is runtime evidence for one local execution, not a forecast about future publishing performance. The long mode attempt stopped at the narrative spine gate before narration or rendering began. No synthetic 8-minute version was produced from that short package. The block is a demonstrated safety outcome, not an execution crash. A long video also needs a reason to continue. The narrative spine requires a question, a promise, tension, a thesis, and a payoff. Chapter contracts then state the new information, proof, examples, and bridge for each section. This does not guarantee watch time. It prevents a long script from being treated as one unstructured block. The continuity audit looks for repeated narration, repeated examples, unresolved authored loops, repeated visual patterns, and repeated calls to action. A consistent visual identity can be useful. Repeating the same substance is different. The goal is a reviewable warning or block, not an invented viewer attention prediction. This package cannot prove future monetization, retention, policy approval, click-through rate, or audience growth. It does not replace human review of a final upload. It also cannot turn a source-backed short into a genuine original experiment without additional recordings and test artifacts. Those limits are part of the evidence, not exceptions to it. For another automated content system, start by connecting each concrete statement to a source or measured output. Keep predictions labeled as predictions. Match the scope of a video to the scope of its proof. When those links are missing, stop the production attempt and collect better evidence instead of filling the gap with polish. Review the evidence before you render. Check the limits before you publish. If the proof cannot support the promise, reject the scope and build a better test. That is the useful kind of automation, not a system that produces every video, but one that knows when it should stop.